Hi, my name is John, and this is my good buddy Andy, and you're listening to the Packers Blitz podcast, the podcast done by two diehard Packer fans who survived the dark times of the 1980s Packers football and lived to talk about it. Packers Blitz is always dedicated to the greatest fans in the NFL, Packer fans. Andy, take it away, my friend.
Yeah, this off season, unfortunately, is upon us already, right, John?
No.
Unfortunately, Packers fans, John and me included, are still wondering why we lost.
Why?
We just did. It just happened, right? Well, it came down again to a scoreless fourth quarter. Less than stellar quarterback play, and a young team panicking and not making plays in crucial moments. Everything comes down to the players and coaches making plays and decisions that change outcomes of games. You don't let a very good team hang around. Championship winning teams know how to put teams away and how to come back in the fourth quarter. And remember, victory is always earned. The Packers didn't earn it, unfortunately. So sorry to start off on a down note there, John, but I figured there are a couple more things I wanted to say that kind of popped into my head. So we started off that way. But we are going to talk a little bit about the Packers season, some of the grades we're going to give them on offense and defense. So we wish, John, we were playing, this past weekend, right?
We certainly do. So,
and you're always vying for the Super Bowl, and we had our chance.
Yeah.
And man, just looking forward to next year, though. I've got some very interesting tidbits at the end of the program, and some of the odds for the Packers making it to the Super Bowl are a lot higher than I thought they would be. So, we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Teasing. Yep. All right. So, school is in session. Andy was a former teacher, by the way. What did you teach again, Andy?
What I taught English and basically social studies.
Nice. So, what we're going to do here, we're going to get right into Packer season grades. That's been happening a lot, on different publications. But again, us as true Packer fans who survived the dark times of the 80s, it's nice to see some of these grades a lot better than I thought they were on offense and defense. Now, these are Pro Football Focus, okay, from them. One thing I do want to say with Pro Football Focus, it's a great, it's a great for stats, and it's a nice publication and everything like that. But always remember, these guys are just trained just to watch so much and look at so much. And the only reason I bring that up is because J.J. Watt was very critical of Pro Football Focus a couple weeks ago. And he's like, they don't know crap. They don't know what it takes to get in there. And, the grade players is not fair. Because he said, this is really interesting before I get into this. Really quickly, he goes, so when you see that guy on the sidelines and he's standing behind the coach, or maybe you see the quarterback and he's like a clipboard and he's standing there, he's checking boxes that is pre-graded for things, or he might be putting a plus or a minus. So for example, let's use Rashawn Gary. Let's say Rashawn Gary on one play had a plus because he put pressure on the quarterback, but had a minus because he let the quarterback get out on the edge and run for a first down. So he goes, people don't understand that. Like, you may have a plus on that play, but also a negative on that play, rather than just one grade. Like, okay, this is your one grade. He goes, it's not that simple. You have to look at, is he playing against the run? Did he do this? Did he do that? And they put all these grades together. Some do like -10, some do like a +10, and then they have the sheet at the end of the year, he said, that they hand to you and they say, okay, you were +70 in defense against the run. You were +20 with setting the edge, and so on and so forth. So they go through a lot of different stuff that helps you to get better in the off season. So he said it's not as simple as ABC or whatever. That I thought that was really interesting, Andy, because I never really thought about it that way. And really that's I think with Jordan Love, when we get into that, like you probably want him to work on 2-minute drill. That's just me. So
That's for
anything to
sure.
add before I get to this? To the
Well, yeah,
grade.
that really is interesting. That's very interesting,
Very
for sure.
interesting.
So yeah. So if you have like a Rashawn Gary, maybe a
Yeah.
Bosa, one of the Bosa brothers.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I saw Bosa even in the game that I was watching against the Lions, that he was cracking down a lot and
Yeah.
out of position at times, and they were
Yes.
running the ball to
Yeah.
his side, and he was out of position. But what you're saying too is, or say Bosa, that's what Bosa was supposed to do. He was
Correct.
supposed to collapse the line
Yes.
down in on the running back that was supposed to go, say, to the left-hand side. He comes back the other way because maybe it's a reverse or whatnot. I think he got caught on one of those. But the
Yeah.
thing is, there was probably somebody behind him that was supposed to be doing their job, right? So
Correct.
maybe a safety came in behind him. Somebody else maybe was the
Correct.
person who was supposed to be making that play. So yeah, and he
Correct.
still may get dinged for it. So
Right. He's still
that's
gonna
really
get he's still gonna
okay.
get dinged for it. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because he just didn't do something he was supposed to do. He was just a step or two late, or
Yeah.
whatever it might be. He got caught up in something.
Yeah,
So let's
so before we start, I did
yeah.
want to say, John, we just want to make sure everybody knows, like, the grades that Pro Football Focus gives, again, goes up to 100, but you won't find many players, if any,
Yeah.
that are in the 90s.
Mm,
That's just
that's
not
rare.
typically what you will find. But anything above a 70 is good. Anything in the 60s is kind of average. And if it's below 50, in the 50s, it start to become below 50, that's below
Mm,
average. So
mhm,
that's where
mhm.
most of the players are. That's where most of the Packers are. Now, there are a few, John, that
Mm.
are in the 80s, and that's very,
Ooh.
very good. That's excellent. So
Mm.
you had some players like Jair Alexander in previous years that were darn close to being, like, say, in the 90s. He was
Mm.
that good. This year, not so much, but still one of our better cornerbacks,
Mhm,
which
mhm.
wasn't saying much, by the way. But anyway, so
Mm.
I'll let you go through this, John, and we're going
Yeah.
to go through our grades on offense. We're going
Yeah.
to take offense first and then defense.
Okay, let's
So,
go with the offense first. So Pro Football Focus gave an overall grade of a 76.
yeah,
My grade.
that's more me, John.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Yeah, no, they didn't grade out the entire offense for the Packers. That was
Oh,
kind of
okay.
that's my grade,
Oh, okay.
which translates into a B plus.
Okay.
So
I was gonna
that's what
say.
I gave. That's what
Okay.
I gave the Packers offense, a
So yeah,
76.
I'm giving them a B. I'm just being a little nitpicky because there were some things that again you shouldn't be doing in game 16 or 17 again. And I won't go
Exactly.
into those. I won't waste people's time. If you want to watch it, you'll see it. Trust me. Okay, so
So
Packers.
John, if you had a PFF grade, would it be
Oh,
somewhere in the 70s then?
yes, I would
So
say
again,
like
so
just
I'm saying
below
they're
you, like
very good. I gave them a B plus, and for me
yeah.
that translated to about a 76, 77,
Yeah, I would
somewhere in
say
there.
about a 73 for me, something in
Okay.
that realms. Really,
Okay.
we're pretty much close on
Yep.
that.
Closer
So,
to a B. Okay. Low
yeah, yeah,
70s. That makes sense.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Sorry to interrupt.
So,
Go ahead.
no, it's all good. The Packers found out that Jordan Love is their future starter at quarterback. He is legit. Uh, now, is this Pro Football Focus or is this you?
Correct. That's Pro Football Focus had him
Okay,
at
so Pro
a,
Football Focus did an 83.0 for
which
him, which
is
is
excellent,
excellent.
actually. Yeah. If you're in
By
the
the way,
80s, it's
my
really
friend
good.
Kurt, shout out to my friend Kurt. He is still not convinced Jordan Love's our quarterback.
Okay.
Still not convinced. So we'll see. It's hilarious. He just does not buy into Jordan Love. And I was talking to him last night, and he just he says he just can't buy into him. I said, okay, all right, we'll
There's
see
nothing wrong
next
being a
year.
little bit skeptical.
Yeah, totally,
Yeah.
totally, totally.
You're gonna
How
have to
many
give him the
teams?
bags so I can understand why he
Correct.
would be a little bit
You
skeptical. So
right. We have no choice here, folks. So let's make that clear. We have no choice. I mean, there's no one coming in here who's going to do better than Jordan Love. That's my opinion. That's what I was trying to argue with him. I'm like, who are we going to get? Kirk Cousins? He's not coming here. No, it's not happening. So, relax. Okay, so let's move on to Aaron Jones, 76.1. AJ Dillon, 75.7.
that was surprising. That was really surprising,
Really?
John.
Dillon or
I
Jones?
didn't Dylan. I didn't think Dylan was that high. So, but
I think
sorry.
I think before he got injured, he was showing, hey, I'm still here, basically.
Still
So
viable.
yeah.
Yeah.
And we'll see if we'll resign him when, like I said, in March, when they start late February, early March, when things start coming up and start heating up. Andy and I will talk about that.
Yep.
Jones is a Packer for life. Absolutely. He is a top 4 running back when healthy. I totally agree with that. Dillon is probably gone if he isn't willing to come back in a major team friendly deal, which I can see him doing, but don't be surprised if he goes to the Bears or the Vikings just to stick it to us.
Yep.
That's
And
what
same
people
with
like to
Aaron
do.
Jones, by the way, John. They have a lot of money that they owe him. So I
Correct.
think it's between
Yeah.
11 and $12 million. They can't afford to keep him at that. So we'll see whether
No,
he's willing to
he's
take
gonna have to
another
do
pay
some
cut.
maneuvering. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Okay, so this is where Andy and I have said, and I think most Packer Blitz fans and Packer fans agree, we have some nice young receiving talent. Jaden Reed was a Pro Football Focus 75.1. Interesting. Dobbs. This is Romeo Dobbs, 68.9. I totally agree with that because I've said on the show how many times, Andy, Dobbs is an enigma. He makes a great play, and then where is he? You're like, where did he go? It's like,
The
where's
rest of the
Waldo?
game. Yep.
Yeah, like
Yep.
what
Is he
is
even
going
playing?
on?
Right.
Yeah. Watson, 69.1 from Pro Football Focus. That's a little generous.
Yeah, I thought so
But
too.
okay. Wicks, 78.4.
78.4. He was the
Wow.
highest. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Musgrave.
one of the
Oh,
highest. He was the second highest. I spoke
yeah,
too
I see
soon.
that. I see that.
Okay.
Musgrave, 63.7. That's a little low, in my opinion. I think when healthy, he was showing he is a threat. Kraft, 63.6. I agree with that because he started out like deer in headlights. It wasn't until
Couldn't
they
block.
started using him.
Didn't know where he
Yeah,
was
and his
going.
blocking is atrocious. He's got to work on that. So very interesting. How to do that.
Yes.
Bo Melton, which is insane to me,
Yes.
led the receivers with an 88.1 PFF grade, and the Packers don't have to pay any of them yet.
Yes. That's a definite
Ooh.
plus. They don't have to do it for several years too, John. So most of those players again are first year or second year players. So
yeah, that is awesome.
Yep.
That is
And they said
totally awesome.
Samare Toure, who was really non-existent the entire year,
Yeah,
they
what
said
happened
he
to him?
won't even make the team next year, probably.
No,
So
poor
yeah,
guy.
great draft class the last couple years as far as the receiving group. A lot of
Yeah,
question marks and not so many anymore, is there? So
no, I
pretty
mean
awesome.
this is probably the best receiving core we've had since 2010 again with Driver, Jennings, Jones. I'm trying to think. Who else am I missing here? Jordy
Jordy
Nelson.
Nelson, yeah.
And even Jermichael Finley, in my opinion, was overrated. I think Musgrave and Kraft here will be a million times better than Jermichael Finley ever was. But who knows?
Yeah.
The guy just had a ton of talent and just could not get it together. Anyway, so let's move on to the offensive line. Is okay. Zach Tom, 77.8 Pro Football Focus. Elton Jenkins, I do not agree with this.
Yeah, I don't know.
65.4. That's
I don't
wrong.
know. Surprised me that he had, John, 0 sacks given up the entire
That's what
year.
I'm saying.
So
He
I don't know where they came up with that either. Maybe his
I
run
don't agree with
blocking
that.
totally stunk. I
I don't agree
don't
with
think
that.
it did, but
No, it didn't.
it seemed awful low. But I had to put it.
Hmm.
That's what they had him for.
Okay.
So that's why I said the
Uh,
offensive line I thought would have
all
been
right.
very good, but it's
Yeah.
really just okay according to Pro Football Focus. So
Hmm.
keep going.
Hmm.
Got Rasheed
Okay.
Walker
So,
now.
yeah, Rasheed Walker, 66.4, which isn't bad, figuring he was subbed in with Josh Nyman. They were going back and forth. It wasn't
Yep.
till, well, really the later half of the season to Rasheed Walker finally won the job.
Yep.
John Myers, 55.8. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know what to do with this kid.
Yeah.
He
Draft
just
another
is.
center.
I
Yep.
don't really want to draft another center, but we're going to have to, which sucks.
Possibly.
John Runyon, he's a free agent, by the way, and we'll talk
Yep.
about that later. He 54.7. I agree with that. He just cannot get, I don't know what it is. He just gets caught up. He can't run block. It's just, there's some plays you're just like, what are you doing? Like,
Yep.
come on, man. Sean Ryan, 51.7. That's an easy one. Why is he still on this team? I don't know. Because we don't have depth at that position. I have
Correct.
no
And
clue.
they were subbing back and forth, those two, pretty much the
back and
entire
forth.
year.
And just it
Yeah.
doesn't work. And then our boy, David Bakhtiari,
Yes.
of course, 78.3.
Really high.
That's the only reason he's still on this team, because when
He was
Andy
the highest.
go back and listen
78.3.
to some of I can't remember which episode it is, but Andy was reading off some stats about David Bakhtiari that was insane. I mean, he had for pass blocking, he was like 98.3 and just numbers
he's basically
a number?
He's basically the perfect offensive tackle
Perfect
as
left
far
tackle.
as the pass blocking goes. Run blocking not quite as good, but still very, very,
Ooh,
really, really good.
Amazing.
It's just too bad. Just too bad.
Yeah.
They're gonna have to make some decisions on him too.
This can be it's gonna be a tough decision. So let's move on to the pundits. They say the Packers need to draft another left tackle, which I totally agree. We are drafting 25th. Do you get a solid left tackle at 25? I don't think so, but who knows?
Very deep draft though for tackles.
The good thing is David Bakhtiari, everyone forgets this. He was a 4th round pick. 4th round. Okay. People forget that. We got him in the 4th round. So there you go. But they need to draft another left tackle. Runyon, Nyman, and Bakhtiari. Probably not going to be on the roster next year. I agree. So
Yash Nyman, John, just to add in, he was again splitting time with the other left tackle that we had in there, Rasheed Walker. So he's a free agent. He won't be back. So I think those 3 players, you can't afford to pay Runyon. He's not good enough to pay him.
No, you can't.
So unless he's coming back, he really likes being a Packer, which is great. And he has that NFL heritage. His father was an offensive lineman as well.
Very good one.
So very good one. He played for the Eagles, right?
Yes. So the Packers finished 12th in scoring, which isn't too bad, all things considered, since we had a really, really slow start, averaging 22.5 per game. And though like I said, over the last 3 games, we went to 27.7.
Right.
Considering the youth and growing pains, that is fantastic. That's unbelievable. So after a 2-5 start, Matt LaFleur deserves a lot of credit. Just really quickly, pisses me off. He was not, Matt LaFleur, he is not Coach of the Year, nominated or on the list for Coach of the Year. Kyle Shanahan is on for Coach of the Year, along with some other, with Dan Campbell and some other guys. Are you kidding me, Andy? He took a 2-5 start with the youngest team, beat the number 2 seed, almost beat the number 1 seed, had all these problems in the locker room with Devondre Campbell Jair Alexander bitching about things, them doing stupid shit. Young team, it's really easy to go off the rails very, very quickly.
Yep.
Right.
And a roller coaster, basically.
Yeah. And it was up, down, good wins, lose. Good
wins. They kept the offense from, falling off a cliff. Right.
Yeah. So and they got better. And that, like we talked in our podcast.
Yeah.
Every episode,
and they scored more points, John. That's kind of important. So they were scoring last 3 games, 27.7 points, 28 points a game. That ain't bad. That ain't too shabby.
Yeah. So, in other words, the NFL are a bunch of idiots, as usual. Goodell is a moron. He's the same guy that says, the refereeing, the officiating's been the best it's been in years. What are you smoking? Like, come on, man. That was stupid. That was, when I saw that, I was just like, are you kidding me? Kyle Shanahan is on this list, and Matt LaFleur isn't. Now, other guys deserve to be on the list. Dan Campbell from the Lions. Andy Reid was on the list. Okay, but Andy Reid's a hell of a coach, but come on. But the players improved, like we said. He was instrumental in the success, and we gave him our own Pro Football Focus coaching grade of 81, which I totally agree with. And again, Matt LaFleur saved his job. He did a fantastic job. So, anything to add before I move on to the defense?
Yeah, the other coach that I did want to mention is D'Amico Ryans from the Houston Texans. So,
right.
Yeah,
he was mentioned.
Yeah, he's mentioned as well as one of the top coaches. So, I mean, LaFleur did a great job. He really did. I mean, you can't say he didn't. We made the playoffs.
I don't know what to tell you, man.
Jordan Love's first year starting with the youngest team in the NFL. So something gelled, something happened. He was part of that, a big part of it. So you got to give him kudos for that. So fantastic job, Matt LaFleur.
Yeah. So I don't know. Doesn't make any sense.
He should have been at least nominated for Coach of the Year. At least, he may not get that award.
Yeah, he may not get it, but he should have been
nominated at least. Yeah. So
he should have been nominated,
isn't it?
It doesn't make a bleep of sense.
Right.
At all.
On to the defense.
On to the defense.
Yep. So for the defense, John, I'll just chime in. I've got them at a C+, and that's kind of generous. I could have given them more like a C. My PFF grade, if I was in PFF giving the whole defensive grade, because I kind of looked at all the scores for all the players, I gave them a 66, and that could have been lower too, and lower in the lower 60s. So I gave them a C+, and that's probably pretty generous, but that's what I did. So yeah,
I gave him a D. I gave him a big downer.
Okay. So you're talking there's too much
talent on that team.
Yeah.
Too much talent.
Or 40s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Too much talent. All right. So here we go. Defensive line was okay. Kenny Clark had 68.8. Even though he started near the last part of the season, he was on fire.
Yep.
I think he had like 3 sacks and it's a crazy number. He was doing really well. TJ Slayton, 65.1. He's starting to show promise. I think he can be a good player for us. He's never going to be a great player. Devontae Wyatt, man, that guy, come on, man. Got to step up. 62.3. Pro Football Focus.
Your guy.
Go Brooks. 66.9.
Yeah.
Screw you.
But still pretty high compared to the rest of the guys.
Very
at a higher rating than Devontae Wyatt, and Wyatt was a first-round pick.
Man, he gets it together next year. I'm telling you, it's gonna be. And Colby Wooden, 58.2. Yeah, he's showing some things, but we still need some help. An absolute hippopotamus or Sasquatch, they're real, of a defensive tackle or two is needed. Yep, bring back Gilbert Brown, the Gravedigger, is needed to ensure the success in the run game. Totally agree. Something we're definitely going to have to do in the later rounds. Go get somebody like that. Okay, so the edge rushers. Yeah, they were a little better than okay. Rashawn Gary gave him the bag. He
Yep.
did get an 80.0
Yep.
from Pro Football Focus. So yes, but like I said, about I think 7 games we talked about on I think last week's episode, he didn't do anything.
Yep.
The last 7 games of the season, he was non-existent.
Yep.
I just think he was tired. I don't know. That's no excuse, but anyway. Preston Smith, 75.9. Yeah, the ageless one. He played really well again.
Yeah, I hope he comes.
Kingsley,
Hope they have him come back
Kingsley,
next year.
yeah. Kingsley Ingrabable, whatever the hell.
Yeah, he
Thank
blew out
you.
his ACL. So
Yeah, he blew out his ACL. That sucked for that kid.
yeah.
64.5, which when he was in there, he showed promise. He, just got to get some work out of him. Okay, and this is our first round draft pick, Lucas Van Ness. He had a 64.0. I agree. He's got to do a lot of work in the offseason to do, like getting around people. Like
more moves. He's got to work
more
on his
moves,
yes.
right?
Yeah, he's got to
So
club
this
some
group-
guys, kind of like Reggie White did, right? Pick them up and
Reggie
toss
White.
them.
Reggie White.
Right.
This group is still not elite enough, I agree, to get the Packers back to the Super Bowl. So that's something we're going to have to address. Maybe in
Again.
free agency, maybe we can get a guy or two to come in there. Who knows?
Yep.
But we can't. The youth is nice, but we got to get somebody like Oh, by the way, I was looking up at free agents this year. Sedarius Smith still out. It's gonna be a free agent this year. Just saying. I don't know. He played well for us. The inside linebackers are okay. Quay Walker, 61.2. He looked hurt. He didn't look himself in a number of games.
And he didn't play as well as he did last year.
No,
his rookie year.
He looked beat up near the end there. Devondre Campbell, 65.3. Again, same thing. He has not been the guy for the past 2 years. We gave him the bag, and now
Yep. Yeah, they took him out during run plays, John, if they could, and put Isaiah McDuffie in. So he's the next guy.
And Isaiah McDuffie, 58.5. I agree. I love this guy. He's a lot of energy and a lot of power. He plays the run pretty well, but he's just
not the pass.
Right. Just he can't. He's a liability out there when it comes to passing.
Right.
So the cornerbacks are below average, except for Jair Alexander, 68.2. By the way, if you saw that Instagram post, Jair put out there basically thanking the Packers for 6 years and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah. What was that all about?
I don't know. So here's the thing. People have said it's either one of two things. One, he could retire because he just doesn't want to tackle anymore. He just watch him. He's like, I don't want to tackle anymore. Or it was just the kind of him just being flaky. But to soothe everyone's nerves, Blitz fans and Packers fans, there's no way in hell someone's going to take this contract. If we traded him, first of all, we got to get a first rounder for him, in my opinion. No one's going to give us a first rounder for him. Second, he has a huge contract this year. Huge. So no one's going to suck that up. No one's going to take that. So he's here. Either he's got to retire or we got to trade him in the draft for like 2 or 3 draft picks. And that ain't going to happen because he's been injured. Nobody's going to do that. So he's not going anywhere. And if he does, it's more likely he would retire. And I can see that happening. He just seems like the guy that just be like, I'm done. And you're like, what? Which has happened. Which would suck because now we got to draft corner again, which we'll get into later.
All right.
On our later shows. All right. So Carrington Valentine, 57.5. I really like this rookie for a 7th round pick. I believe he played really well. He's a little aggressive. He's got to really work on his skill set.
Sometimes he plays way too far off the ball, John. Correct. And so I thought that was a little bit low because I thought he made some plays. I thought he was a really good player. So, but
okay, yeah, I totally agree. Corey Ballantyne, 59.1. Yeah, he's a free agent. I don't know if we'll give him the money. Eric Stokes. Oh, poor Eric Stokes. 51.5. If you've heard, Christian Watson and Eric Stokes went to the University of Wisconsin-Madison, or going to the Wisconsin-Madison to get see a specialist about their hamstring to figure out what is going on. And I guess this guy is one of the top hamstring guys in the world or some shit like that. I'm like, okay, yeah, all right. Yeah, you got to figure that out. This is enough. Enough's enough.
Right.
This group had 7 interceptions in the regular season. 7.
Only 7.
That's usually one corner for a team. That's one right.
For the
Darrell
Cowboys,
Revis,
it is.
whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's simply not good enough. The Packers are going to have to address the lack of talent in the quarterback room. Eric Stokes, yes. Well, I would see what he does in the offseason. And if he comes into training camp and his hamstring goes again, it's see ya. And Jair needs to elevate his play to his former Pro Bowl level, which I think he will if he come back. Oh boy, here we go again. The safeties are. I'm not saying they're okay. I'm thinking they're below average. Darnell Savage, this is generous in my opinion, 63.3, even though he's come on near the end of the season. He did cost us in the 49ers game, not being able to cover certain people and
tackle. Bad angles. That long McCaffrey run, he missed him. So
Jonathan Owens, 61.9. It's something if we bring him back, sure, why not? Rudy Ford, who was injured quite a bit. He had a 69.9. That's okay. And safety is another position that Goody will have to address in the secondary, which really sucks because now we're going to have to probably use one of our second round picks on a safety and one on a corner, because usually you get past that in the 3rd, 4th, 5th. Not to say you can't get a good corner in there. It's usually difficult.
Yeah. So John, basically we need one legitimate safety. Just give me one. We don't even have that. So we need a legitimate starter. We need somebody that has either a good pedigree, pick up that guy from the Cardinals that you keep talking about that I can't remember.
Buda Baker.
Oh, yes. Okay. Somebody like that. Bring in a guy, that's not off the street. Bring a guy in that knows what he's doing, because those are the guys that, put the cap on the offense. They don't allow the offense to get those big plays. If they're smart, they'll make some plays, force some fumbles, make some interceptions. We need at least 1 or 2 would be nice. I'd be happy with just with 1 at this point, but I don't think Darnell Savage is going to be back. So they're going to have to either draft somebody or they're going to have to bring somebody in. They'll probably end up bringing somebody in that's more of a veteran, but who knows? We'll talk about that on a later podcast. But
yes, the heady days of Nick Collins are long gone.
Yeah.
If you don't think Nick Collins was the shit and the bomb and whatever you want to use, go watch some of his highlights on YouTube and you'll be like, no, why did he have to?
So what's happening right now, John, is that a lot of the younger players that are coming up through the ranks, in middle school, high school, they don't want to be a safety. They don't want to be a cornerback. So if they're fast, what do you think they want to be?
Receiver,
because that's where the money is. That's where the glamour is. It's a glamour position. So, and that's why you aren't getting the talent, for the defensive backs and the defensive, secondary people. So
nobody wants to tackle. Yes, the days of Ed Reed and Nick Collins are long gone.
Yes, and I think that's where you were going with that. So sorry.
I was. Chime in. That's gonna be a tough. It's a tough ask. In our free agency, we do a free agency show. There's some corners out there who we can get for like a couple bucks and a ticket. So it's not even that. We can't even fix it with that. Anyway, so let's get to one of my favorite parts. Joe Barry was fired. Yay!
Yes.
His defense consistently, been ranked in the bottom third of the NFL, according to Sportsnaut. The Packers defense in 2023 allowed 21.4 points per game. That's 13th. 5.4 yards per play allowed. That's 20th. 43.75% third down conversion rate. That's really bad. It's almost 50%. You're going to get a first down on third down. That's 28th.
They couldn't get off the field, John.
Yeah, right.
That's what that tells you. That's not good. Yeah.
And then 53.97% opponent's red zone rate. 13. So not so bad. It was basically bend, don't break.
Don't break.
But you can't be bend. You got to be like, don't break. Maybe a little bend, but for crying out loud. The other quick news is the Bears are considering bringing Joe Barry as a consultant on their defensive staff.
Good.
And that's why they're the Bears.
They take our retreads, right?
They just keep taking our rejects. They took Patton. Oh, no, the Vikings took Patton. I think the Bears also had Patton for a little while. Like, come on, man. The Packers need to take defensive coordinator more seriously. Yes. Very seriously. Packers tend to take drafting top defensive talent seriously. Why can't they hire a top defensive coordinator, defensive mind? I don't know, Andy. I don't know.
I don't know either. But that leads us to our next section, John, if you want to move on with that, unless you have some more things to say about Joe Barry.
No. Let's move on to some of the candidates here.
Yeah. Okay.
So what we're looking at here. So, go ahead.
So 4 candidates have interviewed so far, and then I've got one more person that I threw in as a wild card. So chime in, John, as I'm going through these.
Yep.
So here are 4 candidates that have interviewed with the Packers, supposedly. So the first one is Christian Parker. He's probably the most recent one that has been popping up on my phone constantly, and people probably have heard his name being mentioned. That would be Christian Parker. He's the Denver Broncos defensive backs coach. And so his pass defense ranked 7th in quarterback rating, 4th in yards per passing attempt, 4th in drop back efficiency, and 9th in drop back success rate. So pretty high, actually. So he did a great job for his part of the defense. And so, John, again, him being a defensive backs coach, that helps us because our defensive backs need some help. We're going to be getting some new people in.
They do.
And so that could be a good fit from the standpoint that's kind of his specialty. So he's currently 32 years old. Parker was hired by Matt LaFleur back in 2019 as the Packers defensive quality control coach. He spent 2 seasons with the Pack. Denver defensive coordinator Vance Joseph said this of Christian Parker. This is what he said. He's sharp, man. He is a great partner to work with. He works his butt off, and his players love playing for him. He's a star, end quote. Remember, John, we talked about that word. We wanted to hear that word a lot. He's a star.
Yeah,
we want somebody with a great defensive mind, somebody who's going to come up with some new ideas and then be able to implement them. So I like hearing that. Hopefully that's actually the case. So Christian Parker is credited for the development of All-Pro cornerback Patrick Surtain II, and for helping Pro Bowl safety Justin Simmons take his game to another level. The Packers need a fresh voice with a fresh vision, teaching familiar schemes of a Vic Fangio style of defense. So right now, that's the style of defense that we have implemented the last few years with Joe Barry, because he's kind of a Vic Fangio disciple. So there is a fit there. So the question is, do we tear it down and build it back up? If we're going to do that, I guess Christian Parker wouldn't be our guy, would he, John? That I'm not feeling great about, but I like, some of the things that Christian has done so far. But he's never been a defensive coordinator in the league yet, John. So any thoughts on Christian Parker before we move to the next?
No, I'm gonna
possible...
have to say
no.
Okay.
I'm gonna say no on him.
Okay. Yeah, I was hoping we would hire somebody that's already been a defensive coordinator, but not an old guy.
Right. We can't. Yeah, can't. You can't be learning on the job. We can't do that if we want to get to a Super Bowl within the next 5 years or 3 years. Right?
So, yep,
this doesn't work that way.
Yeah, the next person on the list is Brandon Staley. He's the former head coach of the LA Chargers. He was fired just recently. But he was interviewed, so we are mentioning him. We may not like
too much talent, man, on that side of the ball, and look what happened.
Not a whole lot. He was in 2020, the LA Rams. He was the defensive coordinator, and Barry was the linebackers coach that led the NFL in 2020 again with 18.5 points allowed per game. Moreover, they were first in total defense and yards allowed per play, first in passing yards allowed per play, third in rushing yards allowed per play, and third on third down. So really, really great unit in 2020. But again, John, it's not 2020 anymore.
It's not
last few years, he was calling the defense for the Chargers, and that wasn't going too well, especially in their playoff game where they were up by like 27 points and still lost or whatever in the second half. So, I don't know. I'm not feeling good about that one. But anyway, Staley's stint with the LA Chargers failed to replicate the success he had with the Rams, which we kind of mentioned before. So Brandon Staley is the second person that's interviewed as far as we know. So John's saying no to that one. You want me to move on to the next person? And this was kind of interesting. John, we were talking about Harris, right? The defensive backs coach. Yeah. Well, we interviewed Aiden Dirty, I think is his name, Durde. Yeah, he's currently the Dallas Cowboys defensive line coach and followed Dan Quinn from the Atlanta Falcons. Very interesting. Durde, who is from Middlesex, England, played as a linebacker in the NFL Europe in the mid 2000s and had brief stints with the Panthers and the Chiefs. So he is from England. So just to let you know. So we didn't interview Harris. We did interview Durde, I think is his
weird
name. Yeah, so I don't know what that's all about. Fourth person that we've interviewed is Bobby Babich. He's currently in the NFL with the Buffalo Bills as their linebacker coach. Very interesting. He is the son of Bob Babich, who was an NFL position coach and defense coordinator from 2003 to 2021. He actually succeeded his dad with the Bills. He became linebackers coach of the Bills and took over for his dad. So besides linebackers, Bobby Babich, try to say that several times, has also coached the defensive backs and safeties with Buffalo since 2017. That's kind of the thing I like too, is that he's not only involved with the linebackers, but also the defensive backs and safeties. So, but again, he's never been a defensive coordinator. Right. Which brings me to our wild card and the last person on the list. Now, he's up for many different positions right now, and he is a current defensive coordinator in the NFL. So we kind of liked, the possibility maybe of getting somebody that's young, but yet is a defensive coordinator, and he is. He's currently with the Carolina Panthers. His name is Njiro Envero, I believe is his name. And again, try to say that several times, and we won't even attempt it. So Njiro, I believe, is his name, Envero. Like Christian Parker, that first gentleman that we talked about, he's with the Denver Broncos. Evero, again, is with the Carolina Panthers. He was a defensive quality control assistant in Green Bay for Dom Capers in 2016. So he's been with the Packers before, John, and interviewed with LaFleur in 2021. So he could have got
he could have got the job.
Yeah, instead of the Packers went with Joe Barry. And Evero went back to the Super Bowl champion Rams as their secondary and passing game coordinator. So he won a Super Bowl instead. So I think it worked out all right for him, actually, that happened. He was Broncos defensive coordinator in 2022, and then he jumped to the Panthers the next year, probably because their coach was fired, right, John?
Yes.
And so his staff got fired too. The Panthers and the Broncos were both ranked in the top 10 for yards allowed under him. His specialty in Los Angeles was coaching the defensive backs, safeties in particular. So again, out of all those candidates, John, that's why I saved him for last. And he hasn't been interviewed yet, but I guess the intent is we're going to try to interview him, but there's several teams that are interested in him for their defensive coordinator position. But again, is he going to want to make a lateral move and move to another team? I guess that would have to do with money. But again, he's done it before because he was with the Broncos, and then again he moved to the Panthers because he had to, probably because he got fired, but got let go. So yeah, any thoughts on that, John? I kind of like the last guy as a possibility, but
here's my wild card.
No, okay.
Is Jerry Gray. So Jerry Gray was our secondary coach. I think 2019 to 20. He was here recently. He just went over to the Falcons, just I think a couple years ago. And that's when our secondary was one of the best. Jair Alexander was playing at all-pro level. By the way, he loves Jerry Gray. He can't say enough for him. Our safeties were actually playing like safeties. So he's a wild card. Like I said, he's in Atlanta right now. I could see him staying on. I don't know why. I think there's more talent here, but who knows? Maybe he ended it with bad blood. You never know, right? Maybe he got kicked out and he wasn't happy. But he's my dark horse to come in there and take that. My other guy, I know this sounds weird, but Bill Belichick. He's still out there.
He is.
Come on, Belichick.
He doesn't know anything about offense, but he sure knows a lot about defense.
You did.
He definitely doesn't know how to draft either, but we won't go into that.
If Belichick became our defensive coordinator, Andy, I would literally pass out. I'd be in a coma.
Yeah, I just don't see Bill going backwards.
No, he's not. He'll take a year off, and then somebody will hire him. And I can't believe no one's hired him already. But I mean, who knows, right?
There's a lot of good candidates out there, and to be quite honest, the NFL has kind of passed him by. So again, this is an offensive league, and he's a great defensive mind. There's one other guy too, which I saw in Hard Knocks, and I don't think they'll let him go. He's the linebackers coach for the Miami Dolphins. And you want to talk about in your face and really a defensive coordinator should be. This guy is. He's an incredible talent. He's in your face. He's old school, blah, blah, get off your ass. However, his defense last year, they had a ton of injuries this year too. He's been kind of middle of the road. So he's never been a defensive coordinator. So again, I don't want people my whole point out of this is I don't want people to learn on the job. This is not, hey, let's take a year and figure this out. No, we don't have we don't know, right? We need to have someone come in. And people say Jim Leonard from the Badgers again, we can't sit there and let these guys learn on the job. We need someone to come in, take the reins, because Matt LaFleur said in his end of year press conference, he said,
he was helping out with the defense near the end. He was kind of working with Joe Barry and trying to figure things out and whatever. But he says, I can't do that anymore. I just
Right.
want
He doesn't
someone
want
to
to
come
do that,
in.
John. Yeah.
Right.
He wants
Yeah.
to
I
concentrate
want
on the
someone to
offense.
come in. The defense is
Yeah.
yours. You run the defense.
Yep.
And you just come to me when you need something. You need something? Great. Let's talk about it. Other than that, I don't even want to hear you. Just run the damn defense so I can concentrate on offense. So again, you cannot do that with bringing people in when they're first time defensive coordinator. And they're like, how do I do this? And who do I do talk to? And you're like, no. You come in day one, just go, okay, I want this, and this, and we're going to run this, and this. And LaFleur, I'll talk to you when I feel like it. Okay, great. Let's go. Okay, so anything else before I get to the recaps of the AFC and NFC championship game?
Nope, we're pivoting back to the NFL, John, so go right ahead.
Yeah. All right. So be honest, folks, I didn't really watch a lot of this game. It was kind of boring. So the first game of the AFC championship game, Chiefs won 17-10. If I see Taylor Swift one more time, just one more time,
you're gonna.
Andy, I'm gonna lose my shit.
Well, supposedly she has a concert in Tokyo or something, so I don't know how she's gonna. Yeah, I don't know how she's gonna make it to the Super Bowl.
I have banned Taylor Swift in my home. It's a Taylor Swift free zone in the Ratke household. Anyway, so
I applaud you, John.
So the Ravens' number one running, this is so weird, man.
Yeah.
The Ravens' number one running offense was held in check by the Chiefs' defense, which when did the Chiefs get a defense? Okay. The Ravens went away again. I don't know why they do this, Andy. You have to let me chime in here. They went away from their identity, which is to run football, abandoned the run. Lamar Jackson, which, how you got here, Lamar Jackson? He only had 8 rushes. The rest of the team had 8 rushes combined.
Yeah, and the running backs, John, only had 6. So I think a couple of wide receivers or somebody else ran also. So they only gave 6 attempts to their running backs.
What?
Yeah, and they're the number one running offense in the league. So it's kind of perplexing.
It is. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but that's the truth.
So, okay. It doesn't make sense to me why you do that, but okay. Likely NFL MVP Lamar Jackson was sacked 4 times, which very strange. That's why I didn't watch a lot of the game, because the Ravens just didn't look themselves. The Ravens had 3 turnovers. The Ravens were penalized 8 times for 95 yards. The whole offense, this is again why I didn't watch it that much. They just looked out of sorts. They weren't ready to play, which doesn't make any sense.
Discombobulated.
Because they blew out teams. They kicked the crap out of some top flight teams.
Yep.
And then
including the 49ers at home.
Including the 49ers. Destroyed them.
Destroyed them. And Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy. The Chiefs dominated the top
time of possession. Sorry.
I always say top. Time of possession. And this was insane.
Yeah.
Almost 38 minutes versus basically 22 minutes for the Ravens. That's nuts.
Yeah.
That's absolutely crazy.
Yep.
Casey had 0 turnovers again. By the way, Travis Kelce is still running.
Yep.
He was just destroying them.
He was.
It's Travis Kelce. Someone should cover him. Okay, don't cover him. And the Chiefs only had 3 penalties for 30 yards. So at the start of the fourth quarter, and poor Steve Flowers, man, we were going to draft him, by the way, and kind of went away from us, but that's okay. He had a crucial fumble at the goal line. If you look at it, oh man, just stretch out a little bit more there, son. Yeah, you would have got it. That caused a momentum shift and sealed the Chiefs' eventual victory. Everybody says it was this huge play for the Chiefs. They made this huge play. No, the guy just lost the ball. He's trying to stretch out, and the ball just, I don't know what happened. Ravens mistakes. Yes. Does that sound familiar? The Packer Blitz fans and Packer fans and Andy.
Yep. By Lamar Jackson and by, Zay Flowers. And
Chiefs, like I said, win time of possession.
Yeah.
And Steve Spagnuolo
Yeah.
just amazes me that everybody knows his. I mean, the guy's been in the league so long, yet he still figures out a way to really make people like Lamar Jackson, which is a top flight quarterback, just look average. And that gave him the victory. So,
Yep. And the other thing I wanted
what
to
are you gonna
mention,
say?
John, is there's
Yeah, go
another
ahead.
reason for the time of possession for the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Isaiah Pacheco, I think he ran the ball like 20 some times, 24 times, I think it was. This is off the
Yeah.
top of my head, for like 64 yards. So he didn't get many yards per carry or whatever, but he ran the ball 24 times. And again,
Right.
the Ravens running backs ran 6 times.
6 times. Yeah, doesn't make sense.
And Pacheco,
Doesn't make sense.
24. So again, there was a reason they committed to the run and they stuck with it.
Yep.
And that really helped them,
Mm-hmm.
win the game. So
Yeah.
big factor,
Okay.
time of possession.
So let's go on to the NFC Championship game.
Yes.
49ers, San Francisco 49ers, 34, Detroit's 30, Lions 31. Does this game look familiar?
Detroit.
Just saying. Much like the Packers, the Lions blew it. I agree. They totally blew it. According to Bill Huber of Sports Illustrated, so appropriately stated, and quote, anything that could go wrong did go wrong as the Lions managed to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory. Yes, it was unbelievable in the second half. I was watching it and I'm like, what? Who?
Yep.
And there were several head scratching coaching decisions by Lions head coach Dan Campbell led to momentum swings for the 49ers. Going for it on 4th and short twice. By the way, when we did it, we got it. Just saying. Refs. Short twice on the field goal range was did you say inconceivable?
Inconceivable that they didn't that they went for it
Right, didn't do that.
instead of kicking the field goal. Yeah. Should have
Take
kicked
the
it.
points. I totally
Yep,
agree.
get up by 3 scores.
Yeah, doesn't make any sense. Utilize the great field conditions and weather to kick a field goal. I totally agree.
Yep.
The over-aggressiveness and ultra-aggressive coaching style of Dan Campbell cost the Lions the first trip to the Super Bowl. Totally agree with that. He can sit there and argue all you want, but when I said with the Packers, all gas, no brake, it's because, again, that's normally what LaFleur doesn't do, but then sometimes he does do that when he shouldn't. Like, there's sometimes you got to be like, okay, break, kick the field goal, because they have a pretty good field goal kicker, not like us. Yeah. And the Lions owned the first half 24-7. The 49ers owned the second half, again, 27-7. Christian McCaffrey had 20 attempts for 90 yards, most of it in the second half, and 2 touchdowns. The mental and physical toughness of the 49ers eventually prevailed. Nick Boles had 2 crucial sacks, finally did something. The 49ers didn't panic. They regained the momentum. And Dan Campbell's buffoonery led to a 49ers NFC Championship victory.
So I did want to mention, John, before you close up, Dan Campbell called it a gut punch. Well, I can tell you, John, Packers Blitz fans, football fans out there, he was punching himself in the gut. Because that was some of the stuff he did, some of the decisions he made was just ridiculous. So I'm just going to move. That's why I call it buffoonery.
Buffoonery.
Exactly. So anything you want to add on that game, John? I didn't watch it a whole lot. I watched it a little bit here and there. It was just really, they had the game. I thought the game was over.
They had it.
But again, they found ways to lose, didn't they? Just a lot like the Packers do. So
that's
same old Lions, right?
Yep. That's the problem with Dan Campbell is he didn't learn during the regular season. Like, even when he played us, and I think it was like 4th and 5, like on the Lions 30, and they tried to go for it, and we stopped them.
Yep.
Like, what?
Yeah, they faked a punt or something.
Yeah, they faked the punt. And I'm like, you're on your own 30 or whatever you were on the side of the field, and you're faking a punt. Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot like
All right.
Brandon Staley with the Chargers. He used to
Yeah.
do that stuff, except he'd do it on the 20-yard line when he's playing Tom Brady or somebody. Probably Patrick Mahomes, which made no sense.
By the way, Andy, I have a surprise for you.
Oh,
Do you remember, before we get to your just really quick Super Bowl preview, just really quick, this is hilarious. So I looked up, do you remember when we picked the playoffs and who's going to be in the playoffs? Do you remember that?
yes, I
Okay.
do. Yep.
Okay.
You're
So
talking
here we
about
go.
with the Super Bowl?
I'm gonna retread it. And this is hilarious because we weren't too bad. We're too bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so I said these are my picks: 7th seed Packers, 6th seed the Saints, wrong. 5th seed the Cowboys, well, they went to 5th. 4th seed the Giants, wrong. 3rd seed Detroit, yep. 2nd seed 49ers, yep. 1st seed Philadelphia, way wrong.
Right. Yeah.
Okay,
but they were in the playoffs, so you got that right.
So here are your picks.
Okay.
7th seed Falcons, 6th seed Saints, 5th seed Cowboys,
Yep.
4th seed Seahawks, 3rd seed Lions, 2nd seed
close.
49ers, and 1st seed Eagles.
Yep.
Okay,
so we had a lot of them. Not all of them.
We did pretty good.
Yeah.
So here's the wild card really quickly. I said Packers at 49ers. You said Falcons at 49ers. I said Saints at Detroit. You said Saints at Detroit. Then said Cowboys at Giants. And then I think I said Cowboys at Seahawks. I think you said Cowboys. No, you said Cowboys at Seahawks.
Yeah, you didn't.
Cowboys
you had the Giants. I didn't even have the Giants in there.
Yeah.
So.
Divisional round. My said Eagles at Giants, and then 49ers at Detroit. You kind of got that one right. You said Eagles at Seahawks, 49ers at Detroit. Pretty damn good. NFC Championship game, really quickly. I said Eagles at 49ers. You said Eagles at 49ers.
Yep. And
so let's go really quickly through AFC.
Okay.
7th seed, I said Broncos. 6th seed Ravens. 5th seed Jets. Whoa. 4th seed Bills. 3rd seed Bengals. Whoa. 2nd seed Jaguars. Whoa. 1st seed Chiefs. Okay. You said 7th seed Dolphins. 6th seed Chargers. 5th seed Ravens. 4th seed Bills. 3rd seed Bengals. 2nd seed Chiefs. 1st seed Jaguars.
Right. That was way off on that. Yeah.
Way off. We are. Well, we did pretty good. Wild card, really quickly. Broncos, Jaguars, I said. Ravens, Bengals. Jets, Bills. Woo! I sucked. Yours was Dolphins, Chiefs, Chargers, Bengals, Ravens, Bills. Divisional round. This is AFC, obviously. I said Jaguars, Bengals, Bills, Chiefs. Okay, there we go. You said Chiefs, Bengals, Bills, Jaguars. AFC Championship game. I said Chiefs, Bengals. You said Bengals, Bills. Super Bowl. I said Chiefs. You said Bengals.
Yes, I did.
And that's from the AFC, by the way. And then I said Chiefs. And
you had the Eagles
for Super Bowl winner, excuse me. And then you said the Eagles for Super Bowl winner.
Yeah.
Okay. There we go.
Right.
Not bad.
Yeah, but the thing is, you might be right on the Kansas City Chiefs. So
yeah, so let's talk about that.
Yep. So you got the Swiftie, the Taylor Swiftie, defending Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs. And you got the Kyle Shanahan led Super Bowl winless, because Kyle Shanahan has been Super Bowl winless, San Francisco 49ers. And that is going to be Sunday, February 11th, in a couple weeks, actually. A couple weekends. 5:30 p.m. on CBS at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas, Nevada. The 49ers are projected to win by a point at the moment. It's pretty much a toss-up. The
Yeah,
over-under
good
is 47.5. Ticket prices, John, if you can believe this, are anywhere from $3,600 to $14,000, and the
course.
average price is $12,121. If you can believe that. It's gone up, hasn't it? Quite a bit. Should be a really good game, though, but man, I don't know if I would. I really don't think I'd pay that. So yeah.
No.
But that's kind of very interesting, isn't it, John? I figured I'd add that. So
Very
a
interesting.
very early prediction. I'm going to go with the team that has the better quarterback, Patrick Mahomes. So you know where I'm leaning right away. He's a future Hall of Famer, efficient, elevated. He's elevated his game in the playoffs. He's healthy this year, simply the best at his position. He's proved it in the playoffs. He's elevated his game, right, John? You got a future Hall of Famer in
Absolutely.
Travis Kelce. We already talked about him. He's elevated his game as well. He had 11 receptions, 116 yards, and a touchdown against the Ravens. He had 5 receptions, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns against the Bills. So he's been awesome. The Chiefs secondary is really good. The defense for the Chiefs held the best running game in the league, the Ravens, to 81 rushing yards. 81.
Wow.
This spells disaster for the 49ers. If the 49ers run game is held in check, they will lose. Christian McCaffrey got dinged up against the Lions in the Lions game. Right at the end of it, it looked like he landed on his head and his neck kind of snapped back. Hopefully he's okay. Brock Purdy has been okay. Okay doesn't win Super Bowls. The 49ers offense lives over the middle. The Chiefs D is strong up the middle. So Deebo Samuel and George Kittle will be held in check. The 49ers will not be able to get behind like they did against both the Packers and the Lions and get away with it.
No.
Their D is not elite. It's not like all of us think it is on paper. On paper, it looks like it is, but it's really not. It hasn't been elite in the playoffs, has it, John? Not so far.
And look who they face for quarterbacks. No offense,
right?
But Jordan Love, and Goff are not exactly
Jared Goff.
Mahomes level.
No. Right. Yep. Then you've got future Hall of Fame coach Andy Reid, and he's better than head coach Shanahan for the 49ers, period. Reid has 2 weeks to prepare a game plan, and usually that means typically bad things for the opponent. So this is a pretty easy prediction for me. I'm predicting as of now the Chiefs are going to win by like 6 points. I've got them winning 23-17 over the 49ers. So
I got the Chiefs 34-17.
That's could happen as well. I just don't see the 49ers putting up a whole bunch of points. Yeah. I
don't even see it as a game.
I don't think Purdy's going to be very good in it. I don't think he's good enough to win that game. I just don't. Very skeptical of that.
Even though people keep saying, "Oh, why is everyone on Brock Purdy? He's beaten the Packers. He's beaten Detroit. He's beaten blah, 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 blah." I'm like,
yeah.
He barely beat Detroit. He barely beat the Packers. He hasn't. Come on.
Yeah. He's got great players around him, and that's all it is. That's all it is. You put him on a bad team, that team's going to be even worse. He's not going to elevate anybody.
Like, Cleveland.
Yeah.
Even. You put him on Cleveland even, he'd be an average quarterback.
Yep. So now we're going to wrap things up. So before we leave tonight, I was going to do a fun little thing. So we're going to do that before we leave. So here is a fun list of Lambeau Field's lost and found items. Provided for us by Ben Hooper of UPI Odd News and Keith Cronin. Keith Cronin is the manager of guest services at Lambeau. Since April, there have been about 800 items lost and found. Here are some of the funniest and very interesting things. So some of the things that they found at Lambeau were some dentures. I don't know what's up with that. They found some dentures, hearing aids. They found some hearing aids,
Oh, yeah, sure.
passports. I think somebody, there's probably some people all over the world that love to come to Lambeau, I guess, but you would kind of need
Yeah, of
that to get
course.
home, I would think, right?
Yeah.
A cane walker. So somebody left their walker, their cane or whatever.
Oh, boy.
And even a
Yeah.
pair of shoes. So I'm not sure what was on their feet when they were walking home. No
Yeah.
shoes, I guess.
Yeah.
So some of the more routine items, such as hats, scarves, and blankets, are kept for 60 days, just to let you know, before being donated to local shelters, animal
Oh, good.
rescues, and veterans hospitals. So they do donate that if somebody doesn't claim them. So second thing I want to talk about before we leave tonight, Jen and I want to thank the Packers for finally listening to us and moving on from defensive coordinator Joe Barry. They also let go of Chris Gizzy. I think that's how you pronounce it. Their strength and conditioning coordinator. Maybe that has something to do with Christian Watson's often injured hamstring, right? So he was let go. So it was kind of nice to see them making some decisions to try to improve the club.
Hold people accountable
right away, right? So then I've got finally FanDuel. Yeah, FanDuel came up with some Super Bowl odds for Super Bowl 59, which is actually next year, on February 9th, 2025. These odds were just released by FanDuel, John. So Packers fans, John, listen to this. We got the 49ers at plus 450. So they're ranked number one, I guess, to get back and win it. Ravens are plus 700. The Chiefs are plus 850. I would probably put them a little bit higher until the Ravens can actually beat them. The Bills are plus 1,200.
Really?
The Cowboys and the Bengals are at plus 1,500. And then you've got the Lions and the Eagles at plus 1,700. And then you've got the Dolphins and the Packers at plus 2,000. So John, Packers fans, we're in the top 10.
Yay!
Yes, we're in the top 10 to make it back to the Super Bowl. So that's encouraging. If anybody was wondering, the Vikings and the Bears are tied at plus 4,000. They're kind of in the middle of the pack. And then you've got the Commanders, the Patriots, the Titans, the Giants, and the Panthers are all at plus 15,000. So
dude, let's put some money on that.
Yeah, they don't give
a lot of money.
They don't give them practically any chance, do they?
No chance.
So, John, take us away. What's going to happen next time? Yeah.
So Packers Blitz will be back next week with a more in-depth preview of Super Bowl 58. Yeah, we'll go through that. We'll maybe add some other fun things, see any other news that will be coming up. Seems like Packers are making news like every week. There's something going on. But again, we want to thank you, Packers Blitz fans, for listening. We love you. Make sure that you rate us 5 stars, like and subscribe at your favorite hosting, whether it's Spotify, YouTube, Apple. And also, again, I want to hear those Ask Andy questions. You want to hear some of those questions. That's PackersBlitz80@gmail.com. So that's it, buddy. Anything else from you?
Yeah, it's Super Bowl or bust in 2025, I guess.
Yeah,
that's awesome to see us in the top 10. Vegas must think we're going to do something next year. So that's encouraging, isn't it?
So
yep, they know what they're doing. So So go Pack, go.
Go Pack, go. Yeah, buddy. All right. Love you. I'll talk to you later.
Later.